It is almost the end of the first month of 2022. What's the biggest headline in Anderson County right now?
Well, let's see. Last weekend it was the snow, and that was a pretty big headline. So I guess that's probably the biggest thing that we had to deal with last weekend and parts of this week. So that would probably be the headline. Record snow, and stayed around for a while and more than we usually get. So that would have to be it.
Just run through a couple other quick things. County Council approved on second reading the new voting map for the council seats.
Yeah, and we'll have probably tweak it another time or two. Well, maybe one more time. We'll tweak it. It's very minor. So then that'll go up for second reading, and then they'll have to make an amendment to do that. But basically everything's going to stay pretty much the same except for reduction in size of Jimmy Davis's district, which is in the northern part of the county, and that's because of the huge population growth there.
Affected about 14,000 people.
About 14,000 people, yeah.
The year has, you mentioned that winter storm. We got a new emergency management director, and this was his first real test. What kind of grade do you give Mr. Hawkins?
Well, you need to understand that Shaggy Joshua Hawkins grew up in this line of work. And he is able to do everything from climb towers,
which and likes to do it.
And so he knows every facet of this business. So if you're asking me what grade I give Mr. Hawkins, I give him 115% because he was masterful in the way that he apportioned resources throughout the county and the constant updates that we were able to give the public and other people like that. It was a masterful job, and our public works department was stellar under Matt Hogan. They did a fantastic job, and our facilities group did a fantastic job. So we had whole lots of Anderson County people out from cutting trees that were down because of the snow and clearing roads and trying to hit trouble spots when people called in. So we did really, really good, and thank goodness we didn't have a tremendous amount of ice. So we came through pretty good, but all cylinders were firing during our snow event.
And that, I was talking to Josh about that. The snow and ice was on top of already dealing with COVID. Remind people what emergency management deals with on a day-to-day basis already.
Well, you have a truck going down Interstate 85 and it's filled with chemicals. That's emergency management. Spraying buildings for COVID, providing assistance to industries on how to deal with COVID, dealing with snow events. It's just, if it's an emergency management handles it. It's a wide variety of things. A big pile up on 85, they're there. So it's just not one thing. So it's not where you go to work and you're going to do this. And when you're not doing this, you are planning for the next emergency. And well, we had a meeting this week on a continuity of operations plan. What do you do if this person goes out? Who's in charge? What do you do with your finance department? Where is your other headquarters if the courthouse is not usable? All of those things. So we're working on that continuity operations plan, but we also have an emergency management plan, and that has to be updated. And then you have to go out and talk to people and provide services and tell people how to do this and how to do that. And so it's a multifaceted job, and it's just very intriguing, and Joshua does an excellent job doing that, and he's devoted, and he loves Anderson County, and he's not afraid to work 36 hours straight if he needs to.
And they're going to kind of move them all into one place, right?
We're going to do that eventually, but right now we have emergency preparedness and EMS together.
Right.
And they work hand in glove. That is Steve Kelly. Steve Kelly is over the Anderson County Paramedic Corps, and we have about 50 employees in that, our first responder group. So they are always together, right beside each other in their office, and that's currently over at the Command College at Anderson University. We have the top floor, and so they have to be together because it's like half of the deal. So that worked out wonderfully well as usual, and we made a few modifications during the snowstorm. We put 2 paramedics in a vehicle, which usually we just have 1 paramedic in a vehicle. So we did that. A couple of other things we tweaked. But everybody came through safe. Everybody had a fine operation, so we were thankful for that.
Well, you mentioned, since we've already mentioned it, let's talk about EMS. What's the latest? In September, the county took over the EMS countywide system. How's that looking?
We have a time period, 9 minutes and 50 seconds, that we need to be there with you. We're over 90% meeting that goal right now, which is probably better than anybody else in the state of South Carolina and better than most parts of the country. But we are refining it. We had a large meeting yesterday with all of the people, and we're refining that. Are we staging our paramedics exactly where they need to be? Do we need to tweak it? I mean, we have a heat map that we're producing that shows where the number of calls are and what time those calls are. And we also have two industries who have stepped up in critical areas and told us, we're going to build y'all a place to put your ambulance, and we're going to put a bunk in there, and we're going to fix it up for you. And they happen to be just right in the most critical areas, and they're doing that for free. Do they get something out of it? Yes, because we're going to be pretty close to them. But we're already pretty close to them right now, and we're in a rented or borrowed space. So it's going wonderfully well, and our partnership with the hospital is outstanding. We're in the process of hiring a quality control person to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. After accident reports, they review those. Was this the right treatment? Could you have done this and that? We're having a review board with ANMED that consists of doctors and nurses over there to review how we handle these operations and to make suggestions. So it's working well, and hopefully, and it's going to take some time, it's going to become more of a community paramedic where we can go and check on you to make sure that you are taking your insulin. Do you need anything? To try to prevent people from having to go back to the hospital, to provide some community-based care. But that's where we're going with this. This is not just ambulance service. It has a broader reach, and we couldn't do it without ANMED. And so far, it's working wonderfully well.
Right now, with January, February forecast for colder than usual temperatures, if we get a series of sub-20 degree nights, how's that going to impact our roads? Because I'm already starting to see the winter potholes show up.
It's going to be disastrous for the roads, but we're hoping that with the stimulus money that the state is giving out and the federal government's giving out, and recently there was a lawsuit, Savannah River lawsuit, and we're going to be getting about $5 million from that lawsuit to use on roads. So we're going to have a nice little pile of money from many different sources, and with the increased amount of money that the State Department of Transportation is getting, there's going to be a whole lot of money out there. But cold weather is horrible on roads, and 20-degree weather is really horrible on roads, and our roads need work now, so it's going to be an effort. But hopefully there's money coming down the pike and not in the sweet by and by pretty quick.
Well, and the everlasting challenge keeping up with 1,500 miles of county roads, if I remember correctly, the last figure I saw to fully maintain and repair these roads, it would take $8.5 million a year. Is that
at a minimum?
At a minimum?
At a minimum.
But maybe this year that much will be available with all
maybe that, maybe more.
But it's one time.
It's one time, but it's a lot, and it won't be just a one-time boom. It's going to be over several years. So hopefully we can get ahead in that department.
I know council's already begun to work on this year's budget. Mm-hmm. Where is that process? And last year's budget came in a lot earlier than anyone I can ever remember. And
I think we'll probably do the same thing this year. Will not be a tax increase. I can promise you that right now. I can't promise you anything, but council's not going to have a tax increase this year. So we've managed our money well. Our credit rating is very, very high. So I think we're in good shape. But growth costs money, but growth also brings in money. And some of the things we've done, like some of the investments the county has made in tourism, are really paying off in return of the A-tax, which again, people from outside the county pay that A-tax. And when we get the fee on Airbnbs, which council's already approved, that's going to put more money in our coffers. And with all of the industry that we've received, they're putting money back into Anderson County. And so that's really been a big help. And with the people moving to Anderson County, that's been a help. And so everything's working well in our favor right now. But that growth does cause problems because in some areas people said we've had enough. But then we've got other parts of the county. We had a meeting on that this week about putting some sewer lines, which we're going to do, in other parts of the county to try to spread out that growth, which has always been our goal, is to make all of Anderson County thrive. So looking down towards the Star Ava area, we've got some plans in the works there and working hard on that with the superintendent down in that area, who's a big proponent for growth in that area. So we're doing that. So Councilman Graham's kind of leading that charge in that area to get those things there. And so we're in good financial shape.
When people ask those questions, though, I don't think they realize, isn't it true that when companies come here, they tell you where they want to be. You don't get to point them where you
Well,
want them to be.
our biggest thing is getting them to come to Anderson.
Right.
After we get them to come to Anderson, then we will show them everything's available. But they will make that decision.
Right.
We can't say, this is where you go. They're going to say, well, we like this spot right here, and this is where we want to go. And it's available, that's where they're going to go.
Any other challenges facing this year's budget?
Just roads, and we're doing a whole lot of work on sewer. We're fixing up old things, putting in some new lines, trying to open up some more exits to put more growth on the interstate so we can drive there and then come back here. So all of those things are going on right now. We probably have more recreation projects going on right now than we ever had, with putting pickleball courts at Hurricane Springs Park, the work we're doing up at Dolly Cooper, the work we just finished at Green Pond, the work we're doing at Wellington, which I'm very excited about, and we want to do more work down there, and several other areas where we're investing in parks, because that's what people want. I know some people say they don't, and our Kid Venture project, which we are working on, the city's partnering with us on this, and the Rotary Club's helping us with this. So hopefully we're going to have that thing open in the summer, and there's just a lot of projects that we have going on. We're working hard on the Fireman's Memorial that will be in front of the new courthouse. We're excited about that. That's underway right now. The design's already done, so we're doing that. So there's just a whole lot of things going on. We're also looking for a place to honor people who died here and their bodies were never claimed. And we already have a pauper's field, but what we've done, we do the cremation now, okay? And we're looking for a fitting place to put their names, if we know their names, and to honor them out on some property we have out at the Civic Center. So that's one project we're doing.
Winter is the time you work on the parks all over the county.
That's the time you work on the parks, yes, absolutely.
Any updates on Paws and the park out there?
It's getting a great deal of use, and we're maintaining it well, and I think that's just going to continue to become a popular place for people to go. And when it gets nice weather again, we'll show some movies and have some more events out there. So I think that's going to continue to be a place where people go. The other thing is, and we mentioned this, is we're going to build a playground out at the Anderson County Airport, and we've gotten private contributions from 2 individuals, substantial contributions, and we also think that we have found some FAA money that can be used only for that, but it will be an aviation themed playground and also be a learning experience about airplanes and things like that, and aviation in general. So we're hoping to have that out there by the spring too.
You mentioned the COVID relief funds and infrastructure stuff. Is the broadband a part of that?
And we have a partnership with some entities that we'll be announcing next week, and it's purely about broadband and about the money that can be used to expand broadband. And also there will be an announcement at that time by these entities on where they're going to actually start right now with sizable investments. And then we hope to be the conduit for a whole lot of grant funds that are going to come down from the feds to the state to us. And as you know, we already have a plan to put broadband all over the county. The big thing that we need to do is get money to do that. And so we're going to be grabbing every penny that we can to make that available to everybody. So I think that's going to be pretty good news here maybe in a week.
Yeah, because it's amazing how many people, even in, everything from rural areas to people in very high dollar affluent subdivisions can't really get anything faster than dial-up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So but we've got to fix that, because electricity, water, power, sewer, you can have a septic tank, but you got to have the other, or nobody's going to go there these days, okay? They're just not. And companies especially aren't going to go there.
If they see areas that are blacked out.
Yeah.
A lot of economic development announcements that were made over the last year, really more than a year, are a lot of these jobs now coming online,
yes,
starting to produce revenue?
Yes. When we do announcements, sometimes the building's not there.
Right.
And so they have to build it. But a lot of the things are now open and they're hiring. And some of the people that we've done there, they've already hired a bunch of people and they're building other buildings, Arthrex, TTI. And so the jobs are going to keep coming and the opportunities are going to keep coming. So there's no lack of work in Anderson County, none whatsoever. And again, it's a broken record, if you need training, we will find you training. It's there. I beg everybody to take advantage of it.
Well, you mentioned Arthrex and TTI. What they've done is so far beyond what was announced, right?
Yes. But we always knew they were going to exceed what they stated, and they have. I mean, you go out to TTI right now, it's construction. Go out to Arthrex, there's construction. But a lot of our local industries are thriving. Hometown people, Lawless Metals down there blowing up, doing fantastic work. Sargent Metals doing fantastic work. Just all kinds of things. And what I like is a lot of these people are supplying each other, and it's just money just flowing back and forth in Anderson County. So we just want that to continue.
We've talked about it before, but mention some of the things, ride share, ride to work, different things that the county's doing to try to help people fill these positions.
Trying to get our Uber situation up and running full tilt, so we're doing that, and trying to put people together who can give people rides, and doing a lot of those things like that. Working with industries to encourage that on their part. We've had a big meeting on child care about 2 weeks ago. What do you do about child care? Child care and transportation are the two hardest things to overcome for people getting employed.
And how important are Tri-County Tech and Anderson University to the training piece of it?
Well, Tri-County Tech is the training center, and our tech schools, our technical high school is key in all of this. Our vocational centers are key at this, and all of this works together. Anderson University is always important in everything we do.
Now they got engineering coming.
And that engineering program that they're going to start is going to be big. Plus, there's just a lot of things that all feed into each other and help each other.
How else is the county trying to manage this growth? You're talking about this rapid growth?
The council's already done 5 or 6 things. We already had a lot of things in place, okay? And a lot of these areas that are zoned, we're zoned for what is going there. Some places it's just really going. So we're looking at tweaking things. The conservation subdivisions is one idea. Maybe some kind of performance steps based on the quality of the road. All of this is up in the air and open for debate. And so we're trying to craft something that's good for the entire county, because some places don't want anybody else to come there, and then some places want somebody to come there. So you have to kind of balance that out, because you want the whole county to prosper. And that goes back to running those sewer lines and doing some of those things in some of these areas, so people will have other options.
You mentioned Equinox a while ago and the growth over there. Realistically, how long does a project like that take? Generally, we just have to.
I'm hoping we can see something going over there in 9 months, but right now we're not holding up Equinox, and the developer's not holding up Equinox. There's a program at the state that they're qualified for, but they haven't met yet to do that. So we're primed, we're ready to go, we're ready to move, but we're also looking at development. Toxaway area over there, that's an area that's primed for development. We've taken down that old mill over there. We're working with the town of Honeypath on the old Shakola mill, trying to find somebody to come in there and do some development on that. We're looking at every old mill site that's in Anderson County that people want us to help, and we're trying to attract people who know how to develop old mill sites with people who own the mill sites. So we're doing a whole lot of that.
But those developers stay in close contact with the county as this goes, right?
Yes, we have assisted the city on several of their projects. One right near Equinox, and then there'll be another one we're working on is the old Anderson mill. We're going to be helping the city with that. But we're involved in a lot of things with the city. We have an excellent relationship with the city. We're trying to work. What they want is what we want. So it's the same thing. And a vibrant Anderson is good for the county, and a vibrant Pendleton, and a vibrant Iva. We want to help all of those towns become magnets for people to come here and live and settle and everybody prosper. So, we have agreements with Pendleton just like we do with the city of Pendleton, just like we do with the city of Anderson. And we're prepared to do that anywhere that we can to foster growth. And so, yes, we have a lot of things going on like that. And there's so many things that we're doing together, I can't even remember all of them.
Well, one of the things in terms of fostering growth, and you've talked about forever since we've been doing this, is quality of life stuff. And one of the big ones is this track that's going to go from the Civic Center all the way over to the ANMED campus. I have seen a lot of work on both ends of that underway. Have they updated you on how quickly that can get done? Or
no, they don't have to update us. It's in our hands.
How quickly do you think they can have that finished?
Well,
end of the year, maybe?
It's a money problem. Okay, so we're working with the YMCA and School District 5, and there is a special pot of money from the Economic Development Administration. And Steve Newton is working on an EDA grant, Economic Development Administration grant, to help fund that project. And it meets all of the criteria. So if we can get that grant, that thing will boom quickly, very quickly. So we have our fingers crossed, and we're working diligently to make that grant become a possibility, because I think that will be a huge income and tourism generator, and also just be nice for the residents of Anderson County.
Eventually, we'll obviously connect the city traffic, but you've mentioned before up to Pendleton and Clemson maybe eventually.
We looked at a map today. City of Clemson is aggressive. I would love that thing to one day go from Oconee to Pendleton to Iva to Honea go to Pelzer, West Pelzer and Williamson, go up to Piedmont and connect to the Swamp Rabbit Trail. That's not as far-fetched as it seems, because a lot of this stuff is in place. So we actually have a map, what we call a bubble map, not with a definite route, but this is where it kind of ought to go. This is where it would look good to go. So yes, we would like to see that, and there's a lot of enthusiasm for that, and if we could pull all that together, now that's a 2 or 3 year, 4 year project, but it's one worth exploring.
But the Civic Center to the East-West Parkway is fairly close. They get the bridge built over there, and that last little stretch of walkway up by Carson's, and then that'll be done.
That'll be done. And
the other end is a little less.
They still have a little ways to go over there. But I mean, you mentioned the Civic Center. We have a wrestling tournament there today.
This weekend, yeah.
And then we have the state wrestling tournament coming up here pretty quick. And then we have a whole lot of baseball, a whole lot of softball coming here. So something going on every second. And recreation is what people want. That's what they want. That's what they tell us.
Well, and one of the biggest recreation draws obviously is a lake. Any lake news that people need to know about?
Still working on Green Pond and working on that, getting ready for Bassmasters, which is less than 50 days away. That requires a great deal of preparation on our part, so we're getting ready for that. We just got through with the big tournament, another fishing tournament. And so that's where our focus is right now, and just getting ready for that, because once again, the fishing world's eyes will be on Anderson County, where I want them on Anderson County.
And then you're talking about trying to get performing arts out there.
Oh, absolutely. We would like to have plays
we'll
out
work on
there.
That after Bassmaster, maybe?
After Bassmaster, and for the spring.
Have you received any updates on the shores at Asbury?
I think within about 21 days, you'll really be able to see a marked difference.
Coming into February, can citizens of Anderson County look forward to seeing?
New economic development announcements, some of our recreation projects being completed, refining our ambulance, emergency services, fine-tuning a lot of those things, and we got some other projects on the wish list that we're hoping that they're going to come to fruition. A lot of things, a lot of balls up in the air, and a lot of things we're trying to do. People we're trying to woo to come here, and we think we're going to be successful. Again, our goal in economic development is to not put all our eggs in an automotive basket or this basket, but make sure we have somebody from something else. A lot of technology firms are beginning to look at us, which in the past they might not have looked at us, but now they are. And so we're working on that. We know we're going to get some research outfits. I know they're here, they're coming. We haven't announced them because they don't want to announce yet, but they're going to be hiring a lot of engineers, computer engineers. It's just good and it's exciting, and we want more. And more's coming, and we're kind of selective on what the more is, but it's all coming together like it should.
And talking about assisting people, we're still distributing funds.
We're still
AIM.
The AIM program to help you with your rent and electricity still going on. So we're doing that. We have some exciting things coming up that we're going to be doing more things to help people. We also got some exciting things about events that have been around or haven't been around or have been in one place that are going to be moved to new locations, so we're excited about that. Different opportunities to showcase different things. When that Little League World Series comes here to Anderson, which we want them to stay here, we want to make it so good. We've already had meetings with Chamber of Commerce and City of Anderson and a whole group of people, because we want those people to feel welcome, because they're going to bring a whole lot of people here. We're going to put all the games early in the day. And if you're here 4 or 5 days, if we're putting them early in the day, you're going to have a lot of time to wander around in the afternoon and at night and spend money in Anderson County. So Our Convention and Visitor Center Bureau is working hard on that, and our Civic Center staff, Todd McCormick, who runs our athletic program, he's going to have a lot to do with that, and he's been working on that. And Joey Lance from Belt has been instrumental in it because he's a wheel in that Little League group. So we're looking forward to that. So there's a lot of good things coming, a lot of fun things happening, and a lot of opportunities for us to showcase Anderson.
And speaking of the Civic Center, is there going to be a calendar of big stuff coming up this year? They're trying to bring more events in, right?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of events. We've got one, if it comes in, it'll be the biggest concert we've ever had.
Now, we've had some big ones out there.
Well, this one might top it. No, Rolling Stones aren't coming here,
No.
okay?
Well, we had Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Beach Boys.
You had them, okay. But this...
Is this for, you think, or Celebrate Anderson? You got a big name for that?
We're working on a good name for Celebrate Anderson, but this is
a different concert.
This is a different thing, being funded by private entities, which we really like. So we're still waiting on their people are talking to their people.
But that is a priority for this year. I know COVID has slowed things down, but I hear a lot of people saying, when are things going to start coming to the Civic Center? And the stage is still planned, the new?
Well, we are very close to putting it out for bid, and it will make a marked difference in the experience you have in the amphitheater and what we're able to do. It will really be like, we're the big time, this is where we want to go, and this is what we want to do. And all of these things cost money. So we need these tourist dollars to help us pay for these things. So that's going on. There's just so many projects. And I hate to keep saying that, but there are, and I forget them, and then you leave, and then I say, well, I forgot to mention this, or I forgot to mention this. Like the Betty White Challenge. If you have any stray money, help us take care of our stray dogs and cats. And you can do that
for the
online.
next 99 years.
For the next 99 years, and we'll be happy to do that. And we've received some nice contributions from private individuals to help us do what we do at PAW. So that's very good too.
So wrapping up, I guess you're telling me there's a lot of entertaining things coming up all the way around in the next few months.
A lot of entertaining things, and a lot of things that will put money in people's pockets and make restaurateurs and our hotel folks very, very happy.